Hi everyone, I'm Laura Papetti and thank you so much for being with us on KREM 2 News at noon. We do begin this noon hour with some breaking news. A standoff has ended with one man in custody after it started at 5 o'clock this morning. So early morning standoff went on for hours. Nicole Hernandez was at the scene and she has this report.
Yeah, so after 4.5 hours, that standoff finally ended. The suspect ended up surrendering to police just after 10 this morning. Take a look at this video. You can see that man being led off by police officers in handcuffs. Now he, of course, is in custody. What's next for this investigation? Well, State Patrol is going to be taking over. They're going to be finding a search warrant so they can search the hotel room that this man was in. But for now, people in this area, if you do see a few police officers here and there, that will just be of no concern for anyone in this area. But for now, streets are back open. Russell will be back open again, and this hotel will be back to normal now. In Spokane, I'm Nicole Hernandez.
Nicole, thank you so much. Police say a drunk driver smashed into a Spokane home, landing on a bed that had two people in it at the time. This all happened near 6th Avenue and Florida Street, just south of I-90. Now, the occupants of the home did sustain some minor injuries, and the house suffered thousands of dollars in damage. And you can see from these pictures here what it looks like. The vehicle originally traveled about 30 feet into the yard of the home before coming to a stop. Also right now, firefighters are working to contain a growing wildfire. This is near Orofino, and Idaho Department of Lands workers say it already destroyed 2 homes and is threatening several others. The Clearwater Sheriff's Office is evacuating some areas as well. And at last check, the Whitetail Loop fire is about 300 acres in size. Today, multiple engines and air support are fighting that fire. So for evacuation information, you can call the Clearwater County Sheriff's Office. That number, we put that on the screen, 208-476-4521. And again, we'll continue to keep you updated on this fire near Orofino. Great. Playing a big role in our fire danger and how the firefighters are interacting with it is, of course, the weather. And we have Thomas Patrick standing by. He's inside at the KREM 2 Weather Center. Thomas, we had some rain this morning, which was good news, cooling things off, but certainly getting sunny and warm this afternoon.
Yeah, it was a very quick transition from that rain to the sunshine. I can attest to that. Earlier on Up with KREM, at 7 it was raining, at 8 it was sunny, and we're just going to stay sunny for the rest of the day. Here's a look at the Orofino area. Earlier this morning, it was kind of on and off light showers between about 4 a.m. and 9 a.m., but you can see that everything was pretty much departing after that. So there's pretty much no notion of any more rain whatsoever anywhere in the inland Northwest, not just for the rest of the day today, but for the rest of the foreseeable future for the time being. We're into another very dry stretch of weather. We're just very thankful that the forecast for some showers for this morning did eventually pan out. It is a little bit cool, only 66 degrees as of the noon hour. I think as the clouds slowly depart throughout the afternoon, we'll be able to get those temperatures into the mid-70s, but not much more than that. That'll be pretty similar to what we had yesterday. Today, however, is a standout day in our forecast because, yes, we had the rain this morning, and 2, it's going to be a little bit cool because the rest of the forecast is right back into the thick of the summer season with temperatures almost 20 degrees above average. That'll put us near record high temperatures later in the week. So look at just how close to those record highs we could hit right here in Spokane is all coming up in just a few minutes.
Thomas, I like the cooler weather. Thank you for the information. So enjoy today while you can. Right now, crews in Grant County are searching for a missing man. This is in Banks Lake, and today a crew from the Columbia Basin Dive Rescue Team will join in the search efforts for a man who did not resurface after jumping into the lake. Again, this is Banks Lake, northwest of Coulee City. The Grant County Sheriff's Office says their Marine unit and drones started looking for the man yesterday afternoon, and the 911 call was made at about 3 o'clock in the afternoon. The family has been notified, but authorities at this point are not releasing his name. However, they do tell us he's from Western Washington. A Spokane protest for Jacob Blake held Sunday did remain peaceful. This weekend, hundreds of demonstrators marching for racial equality, and at this point, no reports of any damage from those protests. It all began yesterday near Riverfront Park. Protesters marched through downtown making stops at City Hall and the Spokane County Courthouse. It lasted in all about 3 hours. However, crowds started to disperse about 6 o'clock in the evening. The KREM 2 crews on scene observed a large police presence nearby. The police killing of a black man in Kenosha, Wisconsin sparked rallies all across the nation, including here in the Inland Northwest. Last week, officer shot Blake in the back 7 times. This was captured on some cell phone video. It has since gone viral on social media. As of this afternoon, Blake remains in critical condition and his family is saying he is paralyzed. Local protest leaders are hoping to continue a push for what they call long-term changes within our community.
Invest in the divested, it really makes sense, and it doesn't mean that there's not going to be law enforcement to investigate crimes, but we know law enforcement's not going to stop criminal activity, and over-policing black and brown bodies is not going to make our communities safer.
And last night, about a dozen people gathered in Spokane for a candlelight vigil honoring Blake. It was organized by a local human rights group. Organizers say they will also continue to protest what's called Killology training, which is scheduled for the Spokane County Sheriff's Office coming up in October. Also this weekend, clashes between supporters of President Trump and counter demonstrators turned deadly. This was in Portland. One man reportedly affiliated with a right-wing political organization was shot and killed on Saturday. Today, Portland's police chief said detectives are trying to determine what led up to the shooting. President Trump and Portland mayor engaged in a war of words, blaming each other for the climate leading to the shooting. It led to a barrage of tweets from the president. This weekend, he tweeted more than 100 times on a variety of subjects. He called the Portland mayor a fool. He also called for the National Guard and praised his supporters as great patriots. Portland has seen nightly protests since the killing of George Floyd in Minneapolis more than 3 months ago.
Prior to the shooting, there was a political rally involving a vehicle caravan that traveled through Portland for several hours. There were some skirmishes between rally-goers and counter-demonstrators, and police made several arrests. The caravan covered miles of area.
Talking about coronavirus now, over the past 2 weeks, Whitman County has seen its coronavirus case number skyrocket as students return to Pullman, of course, ahead of the fall semester. 292 new cases have been reported during that time, which was basically tripling the county's overall count in total and leaving WSU officials, quote, frustrated on how to move forward into the second week of school.
Out of the hundreds of new cases reported in Whitman County since August 16th, only 2 people have tested positive over the age of 39. And as the county's total reported cases has increased by 225%, the vast majority has been linked to young adults. The New York Times now ranks Pullman as the 5th highest city in the United States for metro areas with the fastest rising case numbers.
What does hearing something like that do to officials at WSU? What does that make you all feel?
Yeah, we're really disturbed by those numbers. We made the decision back in July that we didn't think face-to-face classes were going to be a safe way for us to move forward. And because our concern is, Pullman has a great healthcare system in normal times, but clearly with COVID-19, this isn't a normal time. And we really didn't want to have a huge influx of students.
Phil Weiler, Vice President of Marketing and Communications at WSU, says many students who have returned to Pullman felt like they had no choice but to come back, despite WSU's requests that students stay home.
And a lot of students had leases with either off-campus houses or off-campus apartments. And what we're seeing is students making the decision to return to Pullman because they're already paying that rent anyway. And I think that's why we're starting to see these surges in positive test cases.
Pullman's police chief, Greg Jenkins, announced last week that the department will start fining people who hold gatherings of 10 people or more. Fines would start at $250, rising to $350 for a second offense and a potential misdemeanor charge after that. But WSU announced its new Cougs Cancel COVID campaign on Friday, a campaign to proactively educate students rather than punish them. And if a student does get sick, that campaign will also help students get any of the resources they would need.
By and large, we know that college students are doing the right thing. It's a handful of folks who are choosing to disregard for whatever reason. And students do need to realize most of your colleagues and classmates are doing the right thing, and you should be doing the right thing as well.
Right. Joshua down in talking to the folks in Pullman. WSU has also announced that they are aggressively expanding COVID-19 testing capacity at a fixed site at the Pullman campus. And as well, university officials plan to bring a more mobile testing site to the campus sometime this week and trying to bridge that gap until the site is fully operational and then they can get around and get the testing done where needed.